47 medical workers in Bahrain went to court today, accused of trying to overthrow the monarchy. But the case was quickly adjourned until next week. The medics alleged they were tortured, and the delay will allow them to undergo medical examinations. As our Nick Robertson reports, the doctors and nurses say all they did was treat injured protesters during anti-government demonstrations.
Around me, doctors and nurses were fighting to save lives. On February 17th, I was in Bahrain's Salmania hospital, recording the horrific injuries anti-government protesters were receiving at the hands of the police. In the hospital grounds, more protesters were rallying, seeking sanctuary. Now, 47 of the hospital's doctors and nurses are on trial in a military court. I've come back to follow their case. The government accuses them of turning the hospital into a base for the opposition.
We've had actually deaths related to ambulances not being allowed to leave the hospital grounds. We've got evidence of platforms being used in the complex where they have staged political rallies.
One of the accused doctors, Qasim Oman, fled to the US. We Skyped. And the government said that the doctors there were excluding patients on a sectarian basis, excluding Sunni patients, for example, Indian patients.
That is a lie also. Why we should do that? We were peaceful in our demand. Why we will do, on one side, we'll do human thing, and on the other side, we'll do the opposite.
In February, the mostly Shia protesters were clashing with the mostly Sunni police. On this tiny island, a Sunni minority rules the Shia majority. Almost all the doctors and nurses are Shia, and with few exceptions, their families dare not talk to us. Some say they've been beaten and told not to speak to journalists like us. But this brave father overcame his fear out of love for his son.
As a father, when you see a loyal doctor like that, jailed, you see, then you said, what is this world? If that government tell me my son has committed a crime, let him prove it. What a crime. What a crime. A crime to be as a doctor? Is this a crime?
He tells me his son is locked in a tiny cell with 9 others. 10 people in a 6 metre by 6 metre room.
No, it's not 6 meters. A 6 meter square.
6 metres squared.
Which means
so that's
2 meters by 3 meters.
That's even smaller. Government officials deny the accusations, say the doctors and nurses are being held according to international standards. But human rights organisations say there's worse, that some of the doctors have been tortured and beaten, all because they say they dared to challenge the government. As protests raged, accurate casualty figures were hard to come by.
Human rights groups, journalists found the hospital and doctors and the best source of information. That disturbed government so much because that exposed the level of human rights crimes committed by government. So government targeted them for that reason.
It was an issue of national security where they gave the outside world a totally different picture of what was actually going on inside the hospital.
I was there. I remember the chaos, the confusion, questioning doctors for details.
And I remember I have seen you there.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing you there as well.
Yeah.
You were busy, very busy, as I remember. You were trying to save lives, is what I remember.
Yes, I mean, we were there, we were communicating, everybody was seeing everything. There is nothing to hide. The Ministry of Health wanted to minimize the number of casualties. They wanted to deny the casualties.
Not just the doctors on trial, but the truth, as it so often is, the first casualty of war, or in this case, the first casualty in a battle for rights. Nick Robertson, CNN, Manama, Bahrain.
We're going to continue to follow that. Wall Street has been on a losing streak, but hope springs eternal for trade.